Friday morning, folks.
Uh,
Hello. Bill Quateman.
Quateman.
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
Hey, listen, I'm worse than that. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Bill Quateman. You know what's funny? This will probably be the last time I ever use your last name, because from now on it's just Bill.
It's just gonna be Bill.
Like, it's kind of like, it's like kind of how that goes.
Call me Bill. You can call me Ray. Just don't call me late for dinner.
I gotcha. It's a classic.
Classic.
So, Bill, where are you at geographically?
Los Angeles, California, home of the free and the brave.
Yes, I call that the other California.
It is the other side.
I was born up north. I'm in the Bay Area.
Yeah, you're in the Bay Area?
No, not anymore. My parents still are, but that's where I grew up, right outside, halfway between the city and Napa.
Yeah. North.
Yeah.
Big Sur is one of my favorite places.
Yeah, not quite that north yet, but like getting there. Yeah, we're up that way. You know what? We just talked about this yesterday's show. And after last night's show, I got to thinking about like Boy Scout camp up in the Sierra Nevadas, like that whole area, like California. Unbeknownst to me at the time, was such a cool spot because you could literally do everything. You could be surfing with a 7mm wetsuit in Stinson Beach one day and in the Redwood Forest the next, and at a winery the next. I mean, it's bananas.
It's an hour. It depends on where you are. An hour to the beach, an hour to the mountains. I mean, it was the California dream. It's turned into some other reality at the moment.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that was, I left. I mean, I was there for a long time. But I left a long time ago, and it's an interesting state. It remains interesting. So, but doing what you're doing, it seems to be like the place.
That seems to be where you would do this.
Like it feels like everybody's doing that.
Well, Tom, you're a chiro, right?
Acupuncturist, but yeah, it sounds like you did some background on us.
Well, I just looked into it. Yeah, I mean, I checked in on you. I mean, really, I was looking at some stuff that you did, and it's like, you guys are some of the funnest guys I've seen out there.
Oh man, thank you.
Hey, somebody gave us the biggest compliment. Was like, it's like talking to two buddies at a bar.
Yeah,
and we were like, oh yeah, we'll roll with that. We like that. Yeah, that's.
I would say living room. I mean, I don't go to bars anymore.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Yeah. That's all right.
Yeah, we're not allowed at bars anymore. It doesn't go anywhere.
Last time we were at a bar, we closed the place, and it wasn't.
It
wasn't a good morning the next day. We forgot we were 50.
Yeah.
I'm keeping my mouth shut sometimes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Plenty of good parties and bars.
You know what is funny? Actually, last night I caught up with a friend of mine from my Hoboken, New Jersey days. And, this is right over the river from New York City. So it's very urban lifestyle, right? You're up until 2 a.m, 6 days, 6 days a week, ready to go to. And he said, it's interesting because all these, I call them kids, but they're 27. They don't go to the bars like we used to anymore when they're 25,
They hook up.
Yeah. Well, and it's like a plethora of other things too. And then it got me asking, I'm like, if I could microdose and gummy and whatever the fuck else I got going on, like, would I have been at a bar at all? I mean, it's really expensive, kind of shitty feeling the next day. Like,
Listen,
I don't know that I would be.
Hey, when I was a young buck and I was in Chicago, and I had an illustrious career in show business, BillQuateman.com will give you a history of my music, which I'm very proud of.
I was wondering if that was the same person when we did our research, and I was like, wow.
Different hairdo.
You definitely had a different hairdo for sure.
All of us. Yeah. I one of my best friends. Oh, wait a second. 1 second. One of my best friends was a big time advertising executive for J. Walter Thompson, and he had a corner office building, and we used to hang out, and we would do mind expanding substances. And for me, it was always a sacrament. It was like, okay, what can I learn today? What can I know about myself? What will I learn about the world? What will I learn about people? It was never like a party time. It was like, what is going on here? And we would go out and have dinner at a restaurant or something, and the story, the experience you had, and you look around and you're seeing all the stories on the faces of all the people that you see in the restaurant. I mean, to me, that's like what it always was. It was insight. It was spiritual. It was poetry. It was mysticism. It was never like, okay, let's go slam bam and head bang. It was always that for me. Now that's me. But I think that's the path. That's the best path for people to be taking anyway. Like, find out who in the world you are.
Yeah, and I got lucky, I guess, in the sense that when I was in college, I found LSD, and I don't think my life was ever the same after that, right? And I still, to this day, I'm a huge advocate for psychedelics broadly, but in particular, I love LSD, and I love what it did for my brain. I love, everything about that. And that's why I said it's not that I disagree with my time with alcohol as a younger man, but it might be the only thing I would swap out if I had a do-over card. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, I spent probably hundreds of thousands of dollars on booze or booze related things in my, I was in advertising in New York City as well, right? So like our golf course was the bar, right? And at $25 a martini, it doesn't take long to rack up $1,000 bar tab.
Also, being in the advertising business will cause you.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And, I love these finance guys that go out and play golf. And I'm like, yeah, no one I know owns clubs or gives a shit about golf, but I know everybody of my clients will tell you everything about scotch and wine, and they'll be all too happy to drink until the sunrise with you. And I'm like, and in a place like New York City that doesn't ever close anyway, it's normal to walk out of the bar at 3 a.m. and be like, where are we going to eat?
Well, pretty much a lot of the businesses, certainly most of the business is done at golf courses and bars, parties.
Yeah. And now I guess the question is like, are 25-year-olds picking up golf, or what the fuck are they doing to do new business, right?
I don't know. I read something scary. They're going to the Catholic Church.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
They said Gen Z specifically is, and who knows, maybe it was an ad poised as a news article to try and recruit more Gen Zers.
Oh, there is that whole Jesus campaign right now. They had a Super Bowl ad, I think, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Jesus
Christ
gets us.
The great thing, Christ consciousness, all the mystical information from all the man-made religions is stuff. The religious stuff, having to hear about God from some guy in a skirt. I mean, that's old news.
Talking about how guys in skirts shouldn't be allowed in the military or in certain bathrooms.
Yeah.
No one points that out. No one, like, you guys wear fancy dresses too.
Yeah. There's no accounting for taste.
Yeah, no. But it is funny how the world has sort of changed in that thing. Like, and marketing, when I saw those Jesus Gets Us ads, I'm like, look, I'm not going to lie. This is a really fucking well done ad. Like, these people, this is well researched, well written, well presented. The production quality is great. I mean, this is the first time in my life I'd ever seen like an honest, like, religious ad that landed.
Yeah. Well, I'll probably AI.
Yeah, sure.
That influence, AI meets Jesus. I mean, that's an interesting story.
Yeah. I did see a funny billboard once on the New Jersey Turnpike, of all places. It was like, it's fine to be proud of your penis. It's fine to talk about it. But when you shove it down my kid's throat, and it was an anti-religion ad. And I fucking almost had to pull over. I was laughing so hard because I was like, wow, somebody put this on a billboard. I was like, this is insanity.
Yeah.
That's why I joined the Satanic Temple.
Yeah.
It was just funny. They got a statue of Baphomet that was going to go right next to the 10 Commandments in front of some place in the Midwest, and they said, we'll take down the 10 Commandments. They knew they would get an indecent exposure, and they knew the Baphomet, if it had breasts, it wouldn't be allowed to be displayed publicly. So they did a photo of Iggy Pop's torso. So it's Iggy Pop's abs abs and everything because he's
That's
always been real
hilarious.
ripped. It doesn't matter now or, in the 70s,
He's walking around without a shirt on.
Yeah, we never had a shirt on.
Listen, if I looked like him, I'd walk around without a shirt on either. Just let's be honest. Him, Mark Wahlberg,
any of them.
Matthew McConaughey, everyone makes fun of these guys. I'm like, no, dude, come on. If I looked like that, I wouldn't wear a fucking shirt either. I probably wouldn't own many shirts. I'd just be like, no, we're good.
And if they were, they'd be like mesh or something. They wouldn't button.
So I think the thing is that the social media thing, the Me Too thing, the social media thing is, I think, probably the downfall of Western civilization.
Yeah. We've talked about that quite a bit here. I don't disagree. I mean, it opened up so many doors that I don't think, I hate to
I think reality TV's up there too.
Yeah.
I definitely think social media turned reality TV into something for everyone.
I
want to know how reality TV is still around. Like now, I guess it's like WWF, right? We all know it's fake. We all know it's staged, but we watch it anyway. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't.
The United States is the best in the world at entertaining itself.
Sure. Don't disagree with that.
That's what's going on.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's funny. I saw an Instagram channel that had caveats everywhere that says everything on this channel is AI generated. Like nothing is real. And it was about animals in particular. And I said, who the fuck would watch something that they know is like a fake deer? The one somebody sent me was a deer bringing its baby in a snowstorm, knocking on the door and warming it up. I'm like, and I said immediately before I knew it was AI, I'm like, this is obviously fake. And then at the bottom it says, no, this is fake. It had over 1 million views. I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Well, the same thing with the dogs that find the owners.
Yeah.
Yeah, the truth is, it's such a heartfelt visual, and I think people are truly starved for
for something really emotional and true. Yeah,
I saw on the Diary of a CEO podcast, the host is like, "Oh, I watch that stuff all the time. I can't get enough." And I'm like, "You're a smart person. Like, what do you mean you watch it all the time? I don't get it."
When you have an image that is uplifting,
sure,
whether it's an animation or an AI, it changes your biochemistry.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Smiles, regardless of why you have one, definitely changes.
Yeah, I mean,
your chemistry.
those are really cool studies, Bill, because I even like the one where it shows if somebody sees somebody doing something nice for somebody else, they also get the neurotransmitter boost, right? Their brain alters in that moment.
There is a part of the brain that doesn't know, cannot discern when you give something to someone, if you're giving it to them or if you're giving it to yourself. It can't tell the difference.
Wow. There's a lot of things about the brain on that tangent that I really think is fascinating. Like to Tom's point about just seeing somebody, like, watching somebody yawn and all of a sudden you yawn, like all kinds of weird stuff like that. That's like a real thing too. But your brain doesn't know, going back to the social media thing. When I first read, what's that giant tome of a book on social media, like the chaos theory or chaos. Yeah. Anyway, they said your brain doesn't know the difference between like a heroin high, a dopamine hit, like, any of these things. So your brain is just like, or if you were starving in the woods and you came across a blueberry bush back in the day and you just sat there until you ate them all, like your brain has no way of parsing out any of these. They're all kind of the same mush. And you're like, seriously, like for as advanced as we are, we're actually not that advanced here. Like we're kind of stupid.
The brain's job is to filter stuff out so that it can make sense of something. So you see, you smile at someone, you could make somebody's day. It's that really kind of simple, and it's that hardwired for how the actual technology of the human brain works, and mostly the heart.
I always feel like when I smile at somebody, they're like, what the fuck's wrong with that?
Yeah. I think that, I think now, unfortunately, like, people are like, is this guy creeping?
Why is this person looking at me?
So, Bill, how do you go from like music to what you're into now? Like, what got you?
We should talk about what you're here to talk about, man.
Yeah. No, I'm just curious because you were in. Yeah, you were in music for a minute, and like now you're definitely not. Oh, I mean, you might. I don't know. You might still be, but like your professional life has migrated significantly, and I was really curious how that happened.
Well, it was desperation.
Mm.
No, what happened was, I had the great benefit of being signed by a really big record company guy, Clive Davis, and my album came out with Bruce Springsteen's and Billy Joel's, and mine, actually, the first one sold more than anybody's. And then Clive got fired, and I fell victim to the minions of A&R guys who wanted me to be like Tony Orlando and Don. And they sent me demos, and I'm sure they could hear the resentment in my voice, and so they dropped me from the label. So that started, I spent a few years doing what I could do to get back into it. I started a family along the way, even though I was doing shows in Chicago and so forth, where I had a really great following.
And we're talking about in the 70s still, right?
Yeah. Yep. And then I figured, well, wait a minute. I started a family, and I had a step family. I had a child with one woman and then another, and then I figured, okay, well, maybe what I'll do is I'll write a book about step families, and I'll get on the Oprah Winfrey Show, and then I'll cause enough attention to get back into the music business. So I went through, did the thing, got rejected by publishers for a couple of years, and then I figured, well, what the heck, I'll do a little fundraising, and I got friends and family to support me with it. And I wrote a book about families called Daddy Daughter Dinner Dance. I think you could still get a copy on Amazon. And my daughter did some incredible drawings and these pithy kind of statements about what it was. Here's a cat that knows more than anybody, stuff like that. And it was a square book. I didn't have to do anything because I was my own publisher. My music attorney turned me on to a big old-time PR guy in New York who put me in with a actual distributor. So I was in the bookstores, we did book tours, and I called up the Oprah Winfrey Show just for the heck of it. I said, got a woman on the phone named Harriet Seitler. And I said, listen, everybody calls you, but I'm calling to see if I can get on the Oprah Winfrey Show. And she was curious. And I said, what's your name? And I said, Bill Quateman. And she says, Bill Quateman. The hair on the back of my neck went up. And she said, we play your music in-house all the time.
That's awesome.
Harriet, can you get me on the Oprah Show? I got a book. And this is when everything was raging. And she said, well, it's not my job, but I'll see what I can do. So as soon as I hung up the phone, I realized, okay, I can't do that because I had enough to make 5,000 books. And with the distributor, I had actually sold 2,500 of them. You can't go on the Oprah Winfrey Show with 2,500 books, and you can't tell people, oh, wait a minute.
Not when she's giving shit away. You get a book.
Not,
you
not
get a
when
book.
she's giving out 300 into the audience right there. Yeah.
Right. So I right after that, I guess the answer to your question is, how did I get here? Is just I kept saying yes to whatever showed up. I kept having an idea that I could move from one square to the next square, and I would just go do that. As soon as I realized I couldn't get on the Oprah Show, I got a call. I was introduced to a naturopath from Southern California who was a brilliant guy, and he had written a book about personal nutrition, and he wanted to write another book. So we got together, and I said, okay, look, I'll publish your book and promote it because I got a publishing company.
Sure.
So we got into it. I co-edited the book. It's a book, you still see it on Amazon, I think, Your Personal Life. And it's all about the essence of orthomolecular medicine, the hair tissue mineral analysis, which is the most profound assessment of your biochemistry for metabolic function you can have. And I started out with him doing that, and I became marketing director, then president, then became partners. And then he took back his divorced wife, who was a borderline personality disorder.
Lovely.
So the paranoia and the drama was just too much. So again, I said, well, thank you, but I'm out of here. And that's when I started Advanced BioCell, which is currently how I'm doing what I do. And that's the long and winding road, sort of kind of like Cliff Notes.
So it's a long form show. You got plenty of time.
Yeah, you got plenty of time. We're not allergic to long stories. Yeah. But more importantly, that is, let's just take a second to acknowledge the part of that I love about all that. I always love hearing people's stories, but one thing I think, Tom, maybe you agree or disagree, but a lot of the people that are on this show, this seems to be the tie that binds. We got here because we just kept saying yes to the next thing that came across our path.
Well, I even think Matt and I, that's how we've been here 5 years. I know it's not, a full career yet, but like somebody says something and we're like, yeah, let's give that a go.
Yeah.
Yeah. It seems to, and Matt, I thought you were going to reference the fact that we've had so many people talking about manifestation.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We've also,
and I'm like, it seems like that's the way, right? So I'm going to shoot for this big shot. And even if I don't get that one thing, here's another thing that opened up because of it, which is pretty cool.
Have you ever heard of an author named Michael Singer?
Yes.
Yeah. Michael Singer wrote a book called The Untethered Soul.
Mm-hmm.
And then he wrote a book called
I think that's the big one everybody knows with him.
I think our buddy that actually introduced us gave us one of Michael Singer's books. I don't think it was The Untethered Soul. I think it was the other one.
There's two other ones. The next one is The Surrender Experiment. And then his newest book is called Untethered, Living Untethered. Basically, his conversation, he was a fourth semester PhD student in a university in Florida in economics. And in his last semester, he realized that the only thing he cared about anymore was how to stop the chatter in his head. So that's where he starts the story in The Surrender Experiment. Untethered Soul about meditation, one of the best but ever. Little trimmer, but and it's really an
I have a feeling it might have been that one that Joe gave us.
Yeah.
So the day he decided that he just wanted to know how to stop the chatter in his head, of course, a book on meditation falls into his hands. He reads the book on meditation and he decides that what he's going to do is simply and plainly, he starts meditating and he's just simply and plainly going to say yes to whatever shows up. And the story in that book is just phenomenal. I mean, he went out to a field near where he lived and just started sitting in the field and meditating. And then he figured, well, okay, like what I'd like to do is have a little hut or temple-like kind of thing to be. And so he contacted some of his architectural student friends and they built a little temple out there in the field. And then he used some of the last money he had and bought the land that the temple was on. And he just started going out there and meditating in his temple. And then other people started showing up in the field, meditating around his temple. And then he got a call from some people that said, listen, we want to build a little temple too. Can you do that for us?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Sure, why not? I guess I'm in the temple building business.
The temple building business.
Yeah. So it's a construction company. So they started building stuff. He got that going. And then somebody comes to him and says, we would like some software for a medical practice. He said, okay.
I mean, why not?
Why not?
Building temples. Why not software?
He never written code in his life. And he committed to just saying yes. So he got into it. And long story short, he developed this software program for a medical facility, which is still being used today, which ballooned into a $300 million company.
Of course it did.
Wow.
Yeah.
In the midst of all that, and I don't get too far into it, in the midst of all of it, one of his employees blew the whistle on him and said that he was embezzling. One day, the FBI swooped down, got all his computers, got all his stuff, and he spent the better part of $2 million in 3 years fighting it to realize in the end that it was the guy that blew the whistle on him that did the embezzling, right?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And so the book begins with him saying, I'm on a plane on the way to get back the ownership of the $300 million company that I started years ago.
Wow.
Just because he decided to say yes to whatever showed up.
But as bad as that story, that last piece is, the rest of that, in even that, the lessons you learn in that experience are beyond money, beyond anything else, right? Like, that sucks ass that you have to, like, that happens. But at the other side of it, you're like, you know what? This only happened because I was like awake enough to say yes. And that's it, period. And I do feel like, I mean, look at, even on the show, like, we had a guest on, we were shooting the shit afterwards, and he's like, yeah, we're going to be done editing our movie around December. So it looks like we're going to do a March launch. And we're like, oh, we got this great theater here, like a historic little theater. You know, I can see you going into a place like that. Oh,
it's about medicine? Why not do it where Johns Hopkins is? You know,
there's like a little pause, and all of a sudden we're hosting a world premiere of this movie here in Baltimore. And I'm like, how the fuck did that like, it happened like a whirlwind, and all of a sudden at the end of that, you know, we've booked, I don't know, a dozen guests
total now. Yeah.
And it was such an enriching experience. Forget about the show. It just, personally, it was amazing to be a part of that. And like, I mean, I grew a lot from there. And when I talked to a friend of mine, he's like, what made you even do that? You got enough shit going on. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I do. But there's always going to be enough shit going on.
It sounded fun, man.
Sounded awesome. And it was.
Listen, I had the privilege of a 32-year tutorial with a psychiatry professor from Northwestern University in Chicago. He was a realized master masquerading as a psychiatrist. You know, started out with the neurotic stuff. It was when the record company stuff went sideways. But I was always interested in it. I got a psychology degree in college and blah, blah, blah. But one day early on, interestingly enough, the first thing he says to me when we first got together, he says, are you a reader? And I'd been out of school for a while, so I hadn't been reading, and I lied. And I said, of course, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
yeah. Okay. And so the first book stuff he gave me to read, and I thought about this just not too long ago, were the Carlos Castaneda's books, Yaki with Knowledge, plant medicine. That's just what that was. Anyway, I'm in his office early on, and I'm we're talking about all kinds of stuff. And I said, well, why, what's with relationships? What's the deal with relationships?
And sounds like a Seinfeld bit.
Yeah.
What's the deal with relationships?
Yeah. So with his usual answer, he says, well, the only reason to have a relationship is because it's fun.
Yeah.
One sentence validated my entire life.
Yeah.
I hadn't realized it, but just like you're talking about, you do that because it's fun. And if it's not fun, well, why do it? And then also, you guys are making a contribution to something that's larger than yourself. That's the only way you live.
Oh, thank you, man.
Well, thank you. I agree. But also, as I get older, and this could be, I think it's definitely a product of age for sure, but I think it's also a Venn diagram with just where we are anthropologically speaking now. I think that there is a rising, we've talked about this a bunch on the show, so I don't want to go too deep into it, but there's a rising tide of consciousness that's global, that transcends race, religion, sexual orientation, political orientation. Like, I think everybody net is
there's something we're feeling. Yeah.
That's certainly something that I believe. I certainly want that to be the case. And I certainly do see what you're seeing as well, in and amongst all the stuff that's still crashing, but that's part of how it works.
Yeah. But I guess where I was going with that is like, if you accept that as real, then contributing to the whole is the only answer to any question.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like there isn't there's this other thing.
I think there's so many extra layers to that, though. Matt's right there with it, but we're also, I think Matt and I, the similarities for us is we're both searching for something, and the number of people we've had on the show where, and Bill, I'll put you in this category without, I hope it doesn't sound too offensive. You're a little bit older than us. You've had some life experiences and you didn't take the pill. I forgot who I said this to, but we had a psychedelic guy on, summer love, all that crazy shit. And I'm like, why didn't you put on the business suit and go work at Wall Street? What was unique about you? And the theme, whether it was Garnet, who I still reach out to, the guy that founded Neurovisor, I actually asked him to be my guru jokingly on the show, but now I'm like, Garnet, my world's falling apart. And he's like, all right, dude, take a breath. I gotcha. He's
awesome. Yeah.
And there seems to be this group of people, right? We're I think Matt and I are seekers, and we tend to, the best shows we have are people our age or older that have figured something out that's exciting to us, right? Okay, I'll put Louise Heckler. She's a little bit younger than us, but like in that group where like these are people that whether they're PhDs doing cutting edge research or whether they've examined their life or they've looked at, God, what's going on with society and are thinking about it differently. Those are the things that really drive us. And I think some of our best shows come from that, but also that's where I feel like we're making the biggest indent, right? We've now highlighted somebody that's got a story like that like, look, this evolved and I'm seeing this happen globally, not just within my own little world. Sorry, I got on a tangent there.
No. You're absolutely right. What you have done, what you are doing clearly is making a conscious decision, which is like, those are two important words.
Yeah. You don't hear that anymore.
Making a conscious decision to be a benefit.
And you know what throws people about this show format, and you saw that today for when we had 5 seconds of pre-done before. Like, I don't get, look, I mispronounced your name. I feel bad for about 8 seconds on that, not even maybe, because I'm like, look, we're not here for a polished perfectionist thing. This is a bunch of humans talking about real human shit. And the most important thing here isn't, look, we do the commercial. We'll do yours at the end here. We're going to get to your stuff here in a second. But like more often, like this is the better conversation. I want to hear about all this shit that got you here. Who cares what you're doing now to a degree? You're like, all right, well, that's cool for now. But like, look at all this other stuff you bring to the party that has nothing to do with that, but it has everything to do with that. You know what I mean? Like,
yes, it's how you're doing what you're doing,
What you're talking about is the essence of a brilliant TED Talk.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of, this is our TED lab here, as it were, right? Like this is our own personal TED Talk laboratory.
Yeah, the most powerful, most viewed TED Talks are the ones where people are actually talking about the experiences they've had that led them to wherever it is they are at the moment, which is always some great story.
Yeah. So speaking of that, like that's a great layup into BioCell. Like I think that there's no shortage of people sort of experimenting in this realm and looking down these rabbit holes. I mean, when I was going through that site, I mean, there's half a dozen things on there I either do actively or have done, or
I literally last week was having a conversation. Our red light machine, we've been doing it for about 10 years. Somebody came in and they said, I saw something about methylene blue and red light therapy, and I'm like, oh. We're having this conversation.
Yeah, we're having this conversation.
I got excited. Yeah. He came in and I was like, I wasn't expecting that, but that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, extra energy, oxygen delivery. Yeah.
So what I guess what got you excited about that enough to jump in, and then like what's got you exciting now? Because I could pick apart any number of things on this on your services and whatnot, but I just kind of want to start with what gets you out of bed in the morning.
Sure. It goes back to having gotten started with the naturopath that I was working with the hair tissue mineral analysis. In writing the book, I had the privilege of speaking a few times with Abram Hoffer, who was one of the founders of orthomolecular medicine. Orthomolecular medicine means the smallest, most appropriate molecule. And in this context, it's the smallest, most appropriate molecule for the human body is a nutritional molecule. And, rubbing shoulders with a giant like that is inspiring. I've been mentored by and learned from and taught by some of the finest regenerative medicine guys in the world over the last 30, 40 years. And, I don't know, what is it that gives somebody a passion? What gives me excitement to get out of bed every day is to be of service. It's really pretty simple. I love helping people. I love building beautiful things. I am in place to help relieve human suffering. That's just what I do, and that's what makes me feel good. So as a passion, it just causes me to learn more and know more and be able to do more. My dear friend and medical director, Dr. Tom Loeb, is a medical savant, and Advanced BioCell is really very much a replica of the incredible work he's done over the last 40 years. He's a surgery professor at the University of Illinois Medical School. He's a practicing surgeon. He's a naturopathic doctor. He's a global stem cell expert. And so he's led me on into the field and supported me and encouraged me. And so with that kind of support and sustenance, and mixed with a passion to want to do that and help people, it's a pretty heady cocktail.
It is. And I guess I love that you got, first of all, I got to say that the breadth of what you have on your, on BioCell site is, I mean, for a guy like me, I suspect Tom was similar.
Yeah.
It's deep, like and it's very wide, right? Like, and usually you get people that are like into one sort of thing and they're deep into this one thing, but like, I can kind of like stick around on your site for a while. You know what I mean? Like there's a bunch going on, but one thing I really wanted to ask about is some of this stuff is a little dicey, like ozone. I really want to talk to you about
Maryland
that. Like,
has some weird rules around that. I know a few docs who are in the functional medicine space that, you know, they opt for hydrogen peroxide, which is similar, not as strong, but it was their way of hedging their bets to not end up in front of the, you know, the Board of Physicians.
Right. It's a state by state thing. And
yeah,
it's all, you know, when you take a step back and, you know, years ago, again, I was with my AMA card carrying psychiatry guru, beloved teacher. And I was in his office. I said, you know, what's going on? Why are people so sick? Why are the hospitals exploding because they don't have enough beds? What is going on? And he took a moment and then another pithy statement. And this is a quote, guys, from 50 years ago. The AMA, the pharmaceuticals, and the insurance companies are doing a dance of death around the American public. Now, what you guys are finding with people coming in and talking and what you're seeing, what you're talking about in the consciousness raising of things is that information is becoming more apparent, more publicly available, and certainly with COVID, obvious. They were lying and cheating. And the truth is that, you know, pharmaceuticals, big food, big agro, and the government have hijacked human health. They don't care.
I mean, that movie that we were talking about a minute ago basically dives into all of this at a pretty deep
Look,
level.
I just reached out to those executive producers last night because here in Maryland.
Is that the Maha movie?
No, this
Suck
It Up, Buttercup.
Suck It Up, Buttercup.
Oh, okay.
Great movie. The yardstick I have for these things is my wife, who is a ultimate stoic.
We took her to a psychedelic movie. She was not impressed.
She was like, "This is fucking.
This
stupid.
is dumb.
Yeah, this is dumb. Yeah." And the guy, that was a little hard movie to watch. It was, what's his name?
It was a little grandiose.
Yeah, it's this guy who makes mushroom music. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, he basically plays music while people trip.
Yeah, I mean,
which is a great, sounds amazing, right? And he seemed great. Like a nice guy, and the music was cool.
Not Mark.
No.
This I can't remember his name.
To that name.
But she went and she was like, "This is ridiculous." She left this one. She's like, now fighting for my MRIs to get reimbursed makes a whole lot more sense after watching this movie. And I was like, see, that's the thing. Even people who aren't interested in this topic immediately have a story at arm's distance that relate to how fucked up the system is.
Well, I think, one of the nurses that was interviewed for the movie said something like, at some point, everyone's a patient, right? And, when you make it, hey, look, this isn't a political line. This isn't at some point, everyone needs to be taken care of somehow. And when we don't do that the right way, when we look, man, Bill, I'm going to say it on air. Care First owes me fucking $25,000 from a glitch back in January. It's not just me. The whole state, they have not paid any of the providers. And we're all sitting here going, I don't know what to do. We contact the insurance commissioner. They're like, well, what do we do? Well, I know what you're going to do when you're out of this office. You're going to go work for Care First, and you're going to rake up $1 billion there, and everyone else is going to be sick and dying. Sorry, man. I literally reached out to the executive producers last night. Like, I need to talk to somebody in media here.
Yeah. So no, that is what's going on. I mean, that is what's going on.
Yeah.
Well, everybody is a patient. If you just take a moment, put it on pause and look around, nobody's really sick, but nobody's healthy.
No, yeah, exactly.
Right. Well,
exactly.
I mean, and we don't need to go too far down this, but I would push back a little bit on that, because 75% of the United States, and I think this is almost true globally now, it's getting up there, it's not quite as high, is morbidly obese.
Oh yeah.
And I would say that, yeah, you're not dying of a heart attack today. So I guess if that's the bar of not sick, sure, but you're certainly not even close to
No, or maybe managed is in some cases is all people are getting. And yeah, why would you? Anybody selling a product doesn't want you to not need that product anymore.
Oh well, right. I mean, what you're saying is true. I mean, what people don't realize, what we talk about with our clients at Advanced BioCell is pretty down low, which is to say, the decline in your peak abilities begins in your early 30s.
Right.
That's just what happens. Senescent cells, inflammation, oxidative stress, malnutrition, mitochondria dysfunction, drop off in the mitochondria population. I mean, we can get deep into the pool on what is actually going on, and that's okay. But the truth is, it starts way early, and God's joke is that it takes time to show up as a symptom. And then the symptom is usually an early warning one, hopefully, except for a heart attack, which is usually just you die. But,
yeah.
And that's a joke too.
My doctor, when I went concierge years ago just because it made more sense for me. But one of the benefits of that is you get to have weird conversations with your doc and be like, hey, I'm thinking about this thing, man. I got this idea and this question. And one of them was a cardiac calcium test. And he's like, well, why the hell you're like 38 or something? I was younger, right? And I said, well, because I'm not getting younger, and, having a line in the sand where we know, hey, this is on this date, as of this date, I had or did not have this thing. Honestly, I slept it was zero, obviously, as he goes, well, look, that was like a $300 test you didn't have to take, and it was zero. I'm like, see, we're looking at this differently. I say for $300, I get the best night's sleep of my life. To be repeated a decade later with the Grail test, when I spent $750 on that cancer screening and found out that I did not have any of the 56 cancers that it tested for.
Right. Well, one
really good night's sleep. Like,
Yeah. You'll pay for your health now, or you'll pay for it later, and the price later is much higher.
yeah, definitely
It's
more than
compounding
$750
interest, yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
Exactly.
But like this watch, I mean, Steven's been on this show. This is the Nikki watch, and
I got mine on today too.
I have this thing on mitochondria 18 hours a day. So it's just zapping mitochondria all day. They're like, well, you could use it for travel in the morning. And I'm like, look, let's just agree. If my mitochondria is good, all the rest of this shit I ain't worried about. Like, I'm just not worried about any of that.
Right.
At least 3 of my supplements and this watch.
There's no need to worry about anything. It's just a matter of attention and awareness, and okay, like, what are you going to do about it? A lot of people, it's like the oil light goes on in the car, and there's a problem, and so instead of attending to the problem, they just snip the wires so the light goes off.
Yep. Yeah. I went out and bought one of those ODB port things so I could just turn it off myself. I'm like, nope, I'm just going to turn this thing off. Yeah. So let me ask, like, you with the breadth of stuff that you do, how much of it would you say, and I'm just curious, people come to you on the aesthetic side versus the prophylactic side versus the like treatment side? Like, I'm sick, I don't want to get sick, and I want to look better.
Great. Yeah. We treat people with foundational stuff, chronic stuff. We're getting a lot of calls for cancer these days, and the anti-aging longevity crowd. Again, most of the people that we see fall into the foundational chronic area. There's more and more people coming in, like I say, more for cancer. And then the anti-aging crowd, what we're talking with everybody about right now is like, okay, so everybody's talking about longevity, slowing the aging process, reversing the aging process, and that's good, that's nice, and everything in the biohacking that goes along with that. Our conversation now is what we're calling peak span. In other words, how long can you live at your best instead of just how long can you live? And that's really what we're aiming people. So, we're getting majority of the calls we get are for the ozone therapy, and that's like basically the put-in point. We express.
And are you doing mainly IV with that, or are you? What's the
Yeah, we do what's called high dose 10 pass ozone therapy.
Okay,
it's an IV. It's state of the art. I'm a member of the Ozone Master Classes group, which is made up of the biggest players in the game in the U.S. and some international. Frank Schallenberger is arguably the god of ozone.
Isn't he one of the original guys?
Yeah, Mr. Originale. Robert Rowan, who's also one of the originals, is part of the group. And, there's a daily email. They're far more deep into the pool than I am as far as I got. So we, flooding your body with oxygen, which is what ozone is simply the closest thing to a panacea as there is in medicine. Because to your mitochondria conversation, mitochondria need oxygen to make the ATP, the energy, the fuel. And if the oxygen levels are low, the fuel level is low. And if the fuel level is low, everything starts sinking into the ditch. So that's really the point. And we do our best to educate people that there's a pathway to healing. There's a plan. And like we started out this conversation, everything really comes down first square to mindset. What do you want? Do you know what you want? Do you want to just get rid of the pain, or do you want to really learn how to live well? That's just another story.
Right. I got this question for you, Bill, because when we opened our place and we're doing more therapies, we're not injecting or IV or anything. We third party to that, but there seemed to be, you had those early adopters, right? You always have that handful of people that are like, I read about this. I'm so glad you opened. I've been looking for this. And then you have those people that are like, what do you got here? That sounds weird, right? And there's this public education that has to go on because of, I'll say, the framework of the original system, or the previous system, which is, well, I don't feel good, so I go here. And then they tell me to go here. And then they tell me to take this or get this cut out. You know, and it's very, unless somebody is literally turning my head and telling me, knock on this door, go in, sign the paperwork, sit down, they're going to draw your blood and tell you what to do. When somebody comes in to your place, I can see somebody going, oh, I came in because I want to feel better, and then going completely glass-eyed when you show them the quote unquote menu, right? Like, I don't know any of this stuff. So how much, because your website's real clean, easy to follow. You talk about the history, you talk about a lot of the services. I love it. But how much education, how much hand holding do you have to do for, say, the average person? Not your, God, I fucking hate this word now, but biohacker type dude that's like, listen to all the podcasts and he's masturbating to Joe Rogan. But like, you know, the guy that's like, look, I know something's off. I don't know where to go. People say you guys are good. What does that entrance look like for that person?
Well, you've hit on a salient point, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
And fortunately, the way that we've established and crafted our clinic arrangement at the moment, and we're currently talking to some really exciting business development people to open a facility, one of several around the country, that will have absolutely everything in one place at one time for all the stuff. And I have to tell you, I'm seeing, what I see is that it's market driven. People aren't getting the result from their doctor. They're coming in with this very similar story. I went to here, I went to there, I went to here, I went to there. Nothing's changed. Nothing's better. I know why. You know, you're too acidic. You're too inflamed. You're malnourished. Your hormones are off. You're not sleeping. You're not exercising. You're eating too much sugar. I know all that, but how we get there is like, okay, let's get started. Tell me what you want, because your goal is what I want to help you get. It doesn't matter what I know. It matters what you do. We operate on what I call the principle of 4 Ps: proactive, preventive, preemptive, and the most important P, participation. I can tell you what to do. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm here to tell you what to think about doing. If it matters to you, what kind of outcome you're going to have in your life, how you're going to be, we'll get on the. I mean, there's people that come in, they have cancer, and we talk about what we do, and then, you know, one thing and another, you know, with the ozone therapy, with the stem cells, with the methylene blue, with the ultraviolet blood irradiation, with the mistletoe. I mean, you know the story.
Oh, you do mistletoe therapy?
Oh, we can.
Yeah.
Shh.
So the point is, you know, they'll say, oh, okay, well, you know, I got insurance, so I'm just going to do the chemo. You know what? Okay. So yeah. It's not, the point of my story is that I have nothing to convince anybody of. I have nothing to sell anybody on. If they have the desire and the insight and the awareness to realize that the conventional guys are fabulous for trauma and emergency, otherwise questionable. There are a lot of good people in the conventional community. They're just good people in a lousy system.
But yeah, you're spot on with that. That's the big differentiator. It's that they're great in these acute situations. They're not so great on preventing it or anything that involves a longer treatment path, or I should say they're just less equipped for that, I guess.
I had a pretty like straight-laced medical doctor once tell me, he's like, if you need it killed or cut out, this is the place you should be. But other than that, look elsewhere.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the biggest tragedy of our modern system, I think, is that we've trained humans to think that there is a take two and call me in the morning mentality. And Bill, to your point, that participation thing, is a big deal. You know, I can't tell you how many conversations I've had where people are like, well, how do you do this, this or that? I go through the steps. It's like 5, 10, 100 steps, whatever it is. If it's more than one, the other person's like, oh, that sounds exhausting.
That seems like a lot. You know, and
like,
I joke sometimes it's easier to get somebody to change their religion than their diet.
Yeah.
Oh, it's absolutely true. But think about it. Where does it start? Okay, so an infant goes to the pediatrician with their parents. The guy in the white coat comes in and says this and that and this and that. Parents go, ooh, okay, we will. And the energy, which is most important, is embracing this guy's conversation. You know, the infant's got the molecular structure and the cellular memory already of a guy in the white coat being God.
Right. Yeah, you're right. It does go back to the beginning. And I feel bad when I have some of these conversations with people because so many people, smart people, I'm not even talking about like undereducated humans. I'm talking about smart, but not curious in this regard. So therefore it sort of presents as a little silly because they're like, I didn't even think to ask about vitamin D supplement is a big one. I'm like, well, you live in the Northeast, you don't leave your desk, and you I can't remember you ever telling me you went for a walk. So like,
when's the last time you've been outside, man?
Yeah. Like, I mean, and it's so funny because to me, that's so obvious. And Bill, you hit on it just a minute ago. I mean, people come to you, they're like, I feel like shit. You take one look at them, you're like, all right, I can tell you 18 things off the top of my head that are probably.
Well, yeah, you know, Matt, to quote a Chinese medicine saying, you know, 1,000 diseases, one treatment, 1,000 diseases. And it's like, when you start looking at this underlying and, you know, like somebody told me, you got to start specializing in your clinic. I go, okay, we're going to specialize in inflammation.
Right.
Why? What doesn't that get? You want to, we could specialize in stress too. How about that? Why? What? Because stress causes inflammation.
Yeah.
What does inflammation cause? All the diseases, all of them. You know, so it's cheeky, but it comes down to how your body's functioning. And I think when you look at this list of services, how do we improve that function on a fundamental level with, you know, not necessarily just orthomolecular, but what's that smallest piece we can get into and adjust? What is that root cause? I think that's where you really see, and it's kind of my thing with Chinese medicine. And I would say all traditional therapies have a component of that. How well they do it or how they do it is debatable. But I think it's taking a while to see this Western medicine come up with, hey, by the way, you know, we've got a molecule that looks like that we can give you that'll help with that. Right. And you're like, oh, look at that.
What we do is our best, if someone is open, and we certainly do our best to have them be open, or at least open them, is we are here to treat and talk about the whole person.
Mm-hmm.
And that includes your spirit, that includes your emotion, that includes your relationships, that includes your conversation with God, that includes what you eat, that includes what you don't eat. It includes all the things we could do, but, you know, are you open to understanding that there's this whole universe that is you? And people have asked a long time, you know, what does it take to live well? And the simple answer is it takes everything.
Yeah, it kind of does. Actually, you sort of got there a little faster than I was planning, but like I was going to ask.
Should we rewind?
No, you're perfect. What I was saying
we'll fix it in post.
No, what I was saying, what I was going to ask you in a couple minutes was, I'm less interested always, but right now in particular, knocking on wood, I don't have an acute situation that I'm dealing with. So thankfully, but in general, I think I'm always more curious about these sort of like durable habits you can form that last decades, like that aren't related to a thing. Looking at it through that lens, what are your darlings? What do you like in all of your services?
Pick your
like,
favorite child is what he's saying.
What are your good, like sort of like just kind of stay good and durable? And, you know, I love how you describe the staying at peak. That's a great visual.
You know, I think one of the most important things anybody could do is meditate.
It's interesting that you picked that, the free one. Like the one that
I say that
nothing.
on every podcast when somebody asks me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like it's a reset. You know, the way I talk about it, you know, what we all like to do is go and do and go and do and go and do and go and do and go and do, which is fine, which is good. That's the culture we live in. That's one of the things we've always been doing, and we want to do more of it, especially if we're, you know, on the trail like you guys are. So, or even, you know, the professionals that come in to see us, the sports people that come in to see us. So the point of meditation is not going and not doing. And the reason you're doing that, or you're not doing and not going, is so that you can recharge the system so that you can go and do and go and do and go and do more. I mean, I do my best to turn it into something that will be useful to someone in this culture anyway.
Sure. That's interesting. And I love that even more, because here's a guy with like services and products for sale, and the one you like the best is the one that costs nothing.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Oh, I don't know. I managed to spend a lot on meditation.
Yeah.
I've got about $600 or $700 sitting right here on the table of my meditation stuff.
Yeah. I mean, yes, we can. Yes, but
we can. It's absolutely free.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Sleep is a big important. I mean, sleep, meditation, nutrition, and exercise.
Yeah, all things you don't sell, Bill. I love it.
You know, walk around barefoot on the sand or the grass or the concrete. Breathe deeply. Do some humming. Get your vagus nerve cooled out. I mean, really, you know, yeah. Ozone therapy is the closest thing to a panacea. It's one of the best things anybody could do on a regular basis. The end. Stem cell therapy is.
When you say regular basis, what is that? I was meant to ask.
Yeah, what is the healthy dose for a healthy person?
Depends on your health goal. Okay, so I'm on my goal is to be, you know, able to live with a really excellent quality of life to 120, 130 or so, if I so choose. It turns out to be a social issue, because who are you going to do that with?
Right.
And then, okay, so you back it out. What does it take to do that? Well, it takes proper oxygenation. It takes proper nutrition. It takes proper, very important, stress management and release. It takes good relationships. It takes work that you love. It takes being of service. So these are all the things. I mean, the stuff that we do, the products that I ingest and that I recommend are all, you know, what it takes to have that machinery operating fluidly, whether it's a B complex or whether it's nitric oxide or whether it's adrenal or whether it's urolithin A, whatever it gets.
Oh, you throw adrenal in there, huh?
Oh yeah. We have a great adrenal product, and you know, and hormones are a key. You know, everybody's got what they call a key hormone issue. Either the thyroid or the adrenal is leading the charge on something that needs attention. So you want to figure out what that is, and then help that get organized. And you know, acidity is a huge problem. Oxidative stress is a huge problem. Inflammation is probably the king of enemies. So,
I saw you guys do a molecularized hydrogen, which is something I kind of recently got into. It has made its way to my daily stack for about a year now, and
great.
I don't know. I kind of like it. It's a neat supplement.
I'm gonna go get my water bottle that makes it now.
Yeah.
I'll pull that back out.
Exactly. So, you know, it really, again, it starts with mindset. And the first thing about mindset is, you know, are you able to enter the quiet and the stillness on a regular basis to give your amped out system a chance to reset? Yeah,
that's easier said than done for sure. But yeah, I if I go a day without meditating now, honestly, I'm a fucking disaster the next day. Like it is like, I you know, it probably means I can adjust other things in my life, but I'll be honest, I need that anymore.
Oh,
it's
God.
not
I
even
gotta
like
stop if I haven't done it by a certain time in the morning. Yeah.
I think everybody needs it. I'm astonished that people doing? I said, well, one of the things I always say, are you a meditator? I can tell in the first 2 seconds.
Yeah.
The inhale. No, you don't.
No, you're not. Yeah. Yeah, it is one of those things that people, and I love the question. I don't think I'm meditating right. I'm like, I'm not sure you're understanding the point of that. Like we need to work on.
Well, I haven't meditated right since '94.
Yeah. Yeah.
Since day one, I haven't gotten it right. Like I'll stop when I get it right.
Sure.
It's always getting it right.
So Bill, this is a great segue into, let's do the Bill commercial, man. How do we find you? What are you getting excited about that we want to push people towards? Socials,
anything coming up?
Coming up? Yeah, let us know. Let's go through it.
Thank you. The advancedbiocell.com, ADVANCED BIOCELL.com, has all good stuff there. You can get to our stem cell website from there. You can get to our Ozone website from there. You can find out all the good stuff that will support you on your path to being exceptional, anything you want to do. We like to talk with people, so feel free to give us a call. Our phone number is on the website, 310-550-6767.
Do you guys have to be in the Los Angeles area to participate with you guys, or do you do some remote stuff too?
Does it depend?
For the Ozone, you got to come into the clinic.
Yeah, you got to be in there for that.
Come here. We have people that do fly in for Ozone. We have people that do fly in for the stem cell harvesting. We have arguably the finest stem cell program in the world. It's just unbelievable what it does. We've been reversing Alzheimer's. We've been reversing Parkinson's.
Wow.
Shoulders joint. The first UFC champ, Frank Shamrock, sent us a couple of years ago an X-ray of his spine, and it looked like the Colorado River.
Oh my God.
And a testimonial that his first stem cell treatment with his own. See, we harvest fat, and from that fat we take the stem cells that have been encapsulated in collagen from a very young age.
Yeah.
So they're new baby stem cells, and they put them in an incubator and they grow. So you have absolutely brand new baby stem cells. And he said it was after his first treatment, he was out of pain for the first time in 20 years.
Wow.
So those kinds of things, the Ozone, the stem cells, you do need to come into Los Angeles to do it. We have people flying in from all over the place to do that. Otherwise, we have the hair tissue mineral analysis, which we do remotely. We send kits out. Happy to talk with people about what's going on and talk about how we can help you remotely. Is
that a good canary in the coal mine for you, that hair analysis?
It's one of the best things ever. See, metabolic function, which is how your body takes nutrients from any source and uses them to make the energy, is square one. There's a book that's considered a Bible. It's called, Thomas Seyfried wrote a book called Cancer as a Metabolic Disease.
Yep.
It simply refers to the fact that your body can't make enough energy to go around. It'll take energy where it needs to, which is the big players, the heart, the lungs, the brain, and so forth. And then your immune system gets shortchanged. So it can't fight what the problems are. The inflammation will build, the mitochondria function and population falls off, and everything starts walking away instead of working for you. Your body is a miracle. It was made to help you and heal you and support you, but the stuff that interferes with it, the malnutritions, the bugs, the infections, the lack of energy, doesn't allow that to happen. So, the hair tissue mineral analysis is really one of the most important pieces. I've been taking a retest every 3-4 months for 18 years.
Oh, wow. So you're down the rabbit hole on that one.
Subtle changes all the time, but I mean, it takes all the guesswork out of what supplements to take, so you don't have to worry about it in Whole Foods anymore.
Yeah, I might talk to you offline about something like that, because I think that's always been my sort of question mark.
I wanted to talk to you offline about possibly bringing something out to Baltimore, and if you needed any help from us.
Yeah. Yeah. I am interested. Like, I have a ChatGPT, like,
doctor
on my supplements. Yeah. Just on my supplement stack. And I'm always like, all right, my goal changed from this to that. Like, what are these? And I am using that now as like my yardstick, because you got to have something, I think, when you're in it, as far as, we are. But yeah, that hair one is an interesting idea.
Yeah, well, the blood carries all the nutritional information. Certainly you can get other, poison information, but that's not what these tests are. This is for nutrition. So the blood carries all the information about that, and it circulates and deposits in little balls in the back of your scalp, just below the surface. From those balls, the hair grows out. And in that first 1.5 inches of hair is all the information that tells us what's going on with your metabolic function. We send it to our laboratory, and there's a 20-page report. It's a digital measurement of each individual's biochemistry. We know what's too high, what's too low, what's antagonistic, what's toxic. We get a really strong indication of thyroid and adrenal function, and a design of supplements that the laboratory matches to your measurements. So you're giving your body what it actually needs because you know about it instead of guessing.
That's wild.
Yeah, no, it's
cool.
Wild. It's really very wild. It's very.
So you mentioned you need about 1.5 inches of hair. Does it have to be head hair?
Well,
do I get to pick where the hair comes from?
Yeah.
You can do that. Do you shave your head, or do you have a little hair there?
A little of both.
Okay.
Yeah. So the island broke away from the mainland, which is when I started shaving it.
Okay, so like, would you be open to like letting your hair grow for a couple weeks?
Yeah. I mean, I'll look indigent.
But you have my email.
Yeah.
Send me an address. I'll send you a couple hair kits. My compliments.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Send them. So you just got to grow your hair for a couple weeks, and then have Matt razor it from the back.
I was just gonna say, like, I think I got you covered here. I got 6-7 inches of hair. Matt
and I'll just put both our hair in the same kit and see what happens.
Yeah. See what happens.
Yeah, little guesswork never hurt nobody. So what you can do, Matt, is you have Tom lift some hair from the back of the head. You can cut underneath it so it doesn't show the clump. But I always tell people, when somebody says to you, "Hey, what happened to your hair?" You say, "Well, I got a hair test, didn't you?"
Yeah, exactly. No, it's a cool idea, because I'm always looking for, and this is what I love about the technology nowadays, is like you can like go deep as you want on as many rabbit holes as you want. I mean, there's like no end to what you could measure and optimize for. It's pretty crazy. Bill, I could talk to you all day, buddy.
Yeah, Bill, this is great.
Honestly, man, I love this conversation, and it's unfortunately too easy to keep going. But we eventually have to cut it off.
Thank you. You guys are great. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you.
Oh man, thank you so much. Bill, listen, we're going to put all this stuff in the show notes. Thanks again. I loved sharing some time with you.
And I'm sure we'll be talking to you in the future, man.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, look forward to it. There's a lot of great stuff going on, and I really enjoyed talking with you guys. Send me your addresses. I'll send you.
Yeah, we'll do all that.
Nice.
All right, guys. Enjoy the weekend. Bill, stay put. Take care.
You too.
Be subversive, irreverent.
Health is wealth, but you knew that.
Everybody knows that.
But so is following us on social media at Irreverent Health. And check out our website for more exclusive content at irreverenthealth.com.
Oh, I like this.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of Irreverent Health.